What's going on, everybody? This is Dave and welcome back to another Football Manager video today on the channel. Today we've got another Wolves player experiment. As you can tell on the thumbnail, we are going to be trying out Benik Afobe at Wolves. We've already done 3 of these. We've tried Nuno as manager, Ruben Neves at the club, Vincent Aboubakar at the club, and now we're going to be trying Benik Afobe to see if he could catapult Wolves back into the Premier League. Now, before we get going as well, if you guys are on Discord, I've just created my own channel over on there so we can talk on the go. If you want to talk to me about Wolves, football, YouTube, anything like that, then join the Discord. A link to that will be in the description down below. But let's kick off with the video. As you can see, we're going to be starting on the 31st of May 2017, as we usually do. We're going to be checking out Benik Afobe. We've chucked him in the Wolves squad. He's been linked with the Wolves, but it's a bit 50-50 at the moment. Some sources saying it's quite close. Some saying it's not. It's been rubbished off a little bit today, so I'm still not sure if this one will go ahead, but we can do an experiment on it nonetheless, because if it does go through, it'll be great to see how it compares to real life. Physically, he's such a good player. He's got 17 acceleration, 15 pace as well, so he's such a quick guy, quite strong as well. He's a really decent young English forward as well. 6 foot tall, so he's decent in the air, good finishing as well. So overall, he's a good player. Determination at 17 as well. He is a really good player for Wolves, £27,000 a week. He's on a 3-year contract. It's going to be good to see how he gets on in the Championship, if he jumps ship early on or if he sticks with Wolves this time around. We'll jump forward a few seasons, see how he gets on with the Wolves. So let's go forward and skip to the end of the 17-18 season. So as you can see here, we're at the end of the first season. Let's see how Benik Afobe got on at Wolves. He's still a Wolves player and scored a cool 15 goals in the Championship in the end. Playing, well, started 35 games, coming off the bench in 10 of those. So we had a pretty, well, he only missed 1 game throughout the whole season. So 15 goals isn't a bad return. It's not the greatest though, 6.82 average rating. In the FA Cup, he scored 3 in 4 games. So Wolves must have done okay in the FA Cup. In the EFL Cup, he played a game as well. So let's go and check out Wolves, how they got on themselves. He's raised a tiny bit in value. Nuno is still manager. They're 6th in the Championship. However, they lost in the playoff semi-final, lost on penalties to Middlesbrough in the end. So they got quite a tough draw in that, unfortunately. Transfer-wise, to see who they brought in. First season, they did spend quite a little bit of money. Not huge amounts, but brought in Tyrone Mings after a loan deal. Tom Davies came in on loan as well. It doesn't look like they brought in anyone to kind of rival Benik Afobe, though. As you can see, it's all more kind of attacking midfield centres. So something to, you know, rival some of the attacking midfielders. Morgan Gibbs-White left along with Barry Douglas, so he didn't last long at the club either. Quite a few loans out as well. So Wolves obviously coming very close to getting promoted there, but obviously will want to hopefully push for Premier League next season. They got to the 6th round of the FA Cup, not a bad run in at all. Knocked out by Leicester in the end, knocked out in the 2nd round of the EFL Cup by Aston Villa, which was won by Everton. Benik Afobe, top goal scorer for Wolves in the league and in the FA Cup as well. Highest league position was 4th at 1 point, but throughout the most of the season, we're just outside the playoffs. Just nicked in on the final day, which is great for Wolves, but unfortunately, as I say, lost in the playoffs in the end. They were level on points with Sunderland, but pipped them to the post on goal difference. Villa missing out by quite a bit despite having John Terry involved as well, despite his average rating being so high. But overall, a good season for Wolves. Hopefully push forward for a promotion there as well. Having a quick look, ex-Wonderkid John Fleck, having 16 assists despite Sheffield United staying up by 1 point. Definitely one guy to watch out for. Has he still got the ability at this level? But we'll skip forward another season to the 18-19 season and see if Wolves can push and get promoted that season. So then we're at the end of the 18-19 season, and with time to see Benik Afobe. He's still at Wolves, certainly 18 goals in 41 league appearances, another goal in an FA Cup, and the EFL Cup, they must have done fairly well in that, 8 games. So he scored 3 goals there. That's surely got to be a final. Surely. We'll have a look at that though in a second. Value rising up a little bit now. Hitting his prime obviously at 26 years of age now. Average rating of 6.93 there. Wolves overall finishing top of the Championship. Such a great season. But as you notice, Tim Sherwood now the manager, incredibly. Still got Ruben Neves. Jack Price is now captain as well. Having a quick look at the transfer history. Bringing in £3.6 million worth of players players. Danny Bart left for quite a big fee of almost £10 million. Ben Marshall left as well. Phil Afobe went back to Germany. Prince Onyanga as well. Quite a few players. Dave Edwards left. Duckens Nazon as well. Quite a lot of players released actually in the end there. But quite a big money move for Danny Bart. Quite a big amount of money, as I say, and they've reinvested that into John Egan from Brentford and Jose Pozzo from Almeria, who's a striker or attacking midfielder. And Marcus Edwards in on loan, a couple of frees as well. Reece Burt coming in on loan. So what happened to Nuno? He left the managerial role, so he must have got a better offer. He's jumped to Espanyol as boss, and that was in March, so he must have been doing a pretty good job. But as you can see, EFL Cup winners, we'll have a look at that shortly. Rui Pedro Silva went into caretaker charge, but Tim Sherwood has come in, and he's not actually done that well, but he's gone on to win the league for Wolves. But EFL Cup winners, incredible. Jordan Graham finishing top scorer there. John Ryu with the best average rating. They were knocked out in the 5th round of the FA Cup. It was such a great league season for Wolves, finishing 5 points clear. What on earth happened? They beat Manchester United. What on earth? So Wolves, as you can see, let's have a quick look. Well, it's probably easier for us to check this. So they'll be in Europe next season. They'll be in Europe in their first season in the Premier League, which is incredible. So if we untick all of these, bar the EFL Cup, they had some great games, beating Plymouth 3-0 in the first round with quite a strong team out. Went on to beat Oxford 2-0 as well. Beat Brighton 3-1. Shut down West Brom at the Molineux as well, 2-1. They were quite lucky with the amount of home fixtures they got. Beat Swansea 3-0 at the Molineux as well in the EFL quarter-final. Beat Everton in 2 legs, 2-1. Ruben Neves scoring a John Daddy Bodvarsson. And beat Manchester United in the final. Let's have a quick look at this. It's not a full-strength United team. Have they taken Wolves for granted there? They're forced to bring on Griezmann, Bailly and Martial, but it was way too late. Even Helder Costa, Ruben Neves and Ronnie Lopez all got subbed off as well. But such a strong performance from Wolves, who weren't outplayed. A massive accomplishment for Wolves. They're going to be in the Europa League next season under Tim Sherwood, who didn't actually do that well towards the end of the season. As you can see, he lost to Blackburn, drew to Sheffield Wednesday and beat Bristol City, I think. Possibly those 5 games were what he managed. But a solid season for Wolves. We'll push forward to the next season. Exciting times at the Molineux. So we're at the end of the 1920 season, and such a fantastic season for Wolves. Obviously meant Europa League football as well. But Chris Powell here, as you can see, is now Wolves manager. He's insecure. Does that mean Wolves have gone down? They certainly have. Ruben Neves is still there, just about, but Chris Powell now the manager, and Wolves were relegated in 19th place this season with 32 points, 6 points adrift of Watford. Leeds finished bottom. They had a really poor season in the end. Not great for Wolves as rivals West Brom got into European football as well. So who did Wolves bring in? Wolves brought in quite an array of players. 16.75 million was spent. Axel Tuanzebe came in from Man United. Henri Saivet came in from Newcastle. Quite a few players. Cyrus Christie, Craig Bryson as well. Kieran Clark. Big players out was only Romain Saiss left the club. Nick Nuadicco for under £1 million along with Jack Ruddy. Got a little bit of money for him. Jack Price as well left the club. Quite a lot of players released again, including Carl Hakimi and Matt Doherty. So, strange that. We'll check out Benik Afobe though, see how he got in the Premier League. He's still at the club. £12.75 million is his worth now, scoring 8 goals in the league in 32 games. He's not had a bad return so far. 162 goals in 62 goals in 162 games, but that will include his short spell when he was at the club earlier in his career as well. Wolves though, let's have a look. They weren't in Europa League football, which is strange. Obviously winning the EFL Cup wasn't enough, which is a little bit weird actually, but unless they didn't qualify altogether, I'm not sure. But the media predicted them to finish 19th, and they certainly did. But that's what I'm not quite sure. I'm not too sure why they weren't in the EFL Cup despite, well, the Europa League despite winning the EFL Cup, which is a little bit strange. Maybe, I don't know, someone else won the FA Cup or what have you. But Manchester United finishing with a 4-0 win this season in that competition, so Wolves couldn't retain it. They were knocked out in the end. Well, they did pretty well again. Oh no, this was last season. Yeah, they didn't do as well this season. They were knocked out in the third round after extra time to Middlesbrough, but shocking run here throughout the season. Just a real lack of consistency by Wolves in the end. Tim Sherwood got sacked. He just didn't have a good time at all. Rui Pedro Silva came in for a little while again, but Chris Powell has come in and not done as well, unfortunately. And Wolves will go down next season. Hopefully, they've got to keep hold of Ruben Neves and Benik Afobe and so on. We'll skip forward another season, though, and see how they do. So here we go at the end of the 2020-2021 season. Time to see Benik Afobe in his jump ship. He's now at Stoke City, 28 years of age, scoring 5 goals in the Premier League. Wasn't a regular at all, to be honest. He left Wolves in the end for £10 million. I think Wolves got a decent fee for him in the end, to be honest. But Wolves finishing 10th in the Championship. Slaven Bilic, their manager. But as you can see, no Ruben Neves either. So Wolves bringing in an astonishing £112 million this season. They sold Ruben Neves to Arsenal for £24 million, possibly rising up to £35 million. They obviously sold Dominic Iorfa for almost £25 million. Helder Costa left the club for £20 million. Niall Ennis got almost £15 million for as well. He's a Premier League striker now, which I've not seen before in the game. He turns into a good little player. Ivan Cavallero left for over £10 million. Benik Afobe for £10 million. Tyrone Mings went to Man City. Save Kieran Clark left as well. Wolves literally got blitzed. They've had to create a new team, bringing in Carlos Gil. Connor Goldson came in, the lad from Wolverhampton. Chupa Moting came in on loan. Harry Winks and Marcus Edwards in on loan as well. So overall, not the best of seasons for Wolves. They're forced to bring in Yeni and Bakkoto as their right winger. That was their most expensive transfer for £8.75 million, possibly rising to 12. But not a good season for Wolves at all, as you can see in the league, finishing on 67 points. Not too far behind Reading in 6th. But again, a new manager, Wolves chopping and changing those managers again. Competition-wise, they're going to the Europa League. That's strange, that is. Why they've come in so late. There's obviously a glitch or something going on in the save, because it says Wolves enter the third qualifying round on the 30th of December 2020. So there was obviously a glitch there that kept Wolves out of the competition. Fourth round of the FA Cup, semi-final of the EFL Cup, won by West Ham, who beat Wolves. So they've had a good run in that. But unfortunately, again, managers, Chris Powell was sacked. Scott Sellers came in for a caretaker manager and then Slaven Bilic has come in towards the end of the season and done okay. So we probably would get Wolves promoted if we carried this on. But as you can see, Benik Afobe did okay at Wolves. They've had a little run, won some silverware, which we've not seen before. But it's strange that they didn't let us see them in Europa League action. But if you guys enjoyed this, make sure you smash that like button down below. If you enjoyed it today, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. Let me know which other players you'd like to see me put into Wolves and see how they would get on as well. But as I say, if you enjoyed it, you want to speak more, join that Discord in the link down below as well. And I'm sure until next time, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. And I'm sure I'll see you all very, very soon.